Dear friends, hello, good day. We are coming to the Shabbat of Dvarim, the first portion in the book of Dvarim, Deuteronomy, the last book of the Torah. This is always read on the Shabbat preceding Tisha B'Av, the ninth day of Av, the day that we fast, commemorating the destruction of both temples in Jerusalem. And it's no coincidence that we read this portion and the ninth day of Av have some intrinsic connection. And as everything in Torah, the intrinsic connection is always something good. Sometimes it's visible and clear, sometimes we have to search a little bit. But here, I think it's almost as clear as you can get. So we're on number 101 of our inspiration series. It's been a long time since we started during COVID to make an inspirational video every single day. And we're thankful for those who have stayed up with us. And I want to share what I think is a very important message for us as we enter the Shabbat, which is called Shabbat Chazon, the Shabbat of Vision. Dvarim, unlike the rest of the Torah, is Moshe Rabbeinu giving his own speech to the Jewish people. Yes, it's God's words, but it's given as if it's Moshe saying it himself. And if we follow the whole book, starting with this week's portion, we find that Moshe is not just talking like a leader who is saying his parting words, but even more so, he's talking like a parent, like a father, talking to his children, sharing his hopes, his dreams, his ups and his downs, his expectations, and yet his love, even if those expectations were not fully fulfilled. And actually, the Rashi commentary tells us that Moshe took a cue from Yaakov Avinu, how he parted from his 12 sons. That's how Moshe parted from the Jewish people. So Moshe felt more than a leader as a fatherly figure. And we know that a leader amongst the Jews always has to follow in the footsteps of Moshe. That a leader is not someone who's disconnected from his flock, but very involved. Like a parent is involved with their child. They go up and down with their child. Meaning, when the child is in pain, they're in pain with them. When the child is going through a hard time, they feel the challenge as well. And in great moments, they obviously celebrate incredibly for and with the child. The connection is much, much deeper than in any other thing that we have. And this is the feeling you get when you read the portion. That Moshe is, on one hand, rebuking, but out of so much love and so much feeling for the Jewish people, and yet praising them, how lucky they are to be going into the land of Israel, which he himself is not going to make it, and how happy he is for them, and not to be afraid, and don't worry, and it's as if he will be with them. That's how God will be with them, as when Moshe was in the desert, they didn't feel afraid. Incredible to watch. And this is really what happens in the month of Av, in the month that was chosen as the month where a lot of the catastrophes of the Jewish people happened. Even the Inquisition in Spain, when the Jewish people were chased out of and expelled from Spain in 1492, it was on Tisha B'Av, the day that they were expelled. And why is it specifically in the month of Av? And the antidote and the answer is the month name, Av. Av is Father. At the same time that seemingly our Father in heaven expelled us from Israel and took away the temple, he didn't expel us from himself. He took away something that we unfortunately did not know how to take care of properly. But on the contrary, he gave us much more love and much more rope to be able to build ourselves back up. And not only as we were before, but even greater. The month of Av, Hashem says, you lose the temple, but you haven't lost your Father. I lost my children for a little while doing what I needed them to do. And because of that, I had to destroy the temple, but I didn't lose my children. Me and my children were still one, whole and complete. And as we are told that when the temple was destroyed, the two Keruvim, which only faced each other miraculously when the Jews were following in God's ways, were facing each other. Because Hashem's love for the Jewish people is not dependent on the temple, it's not even dependent on sinning or not. Hashem's love to us is like a parent to a child, loves the child all the time, without any conditions. And as a parent who loves a child, they hope that the child sees what's the best for them and leads a life accordingly. So Hashem gives us as much as we need to be able to do that. And Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, even though he was departing from the Jewish people, was his last speech. It was nothing about Moshe. It was nothing about his life and his expectations. It was all about his people, the children of Israel, his children, meaning all the Jewish people who he cared for like a child. So even when things may be challenging and we think about the lost temple, remember God is our Father in heaven, and he has a third temple waiting. He just wants us to be ready, so we won't have to take it away again because of our behavior, but we'll be ready to cherish it the same way he cherishes it. And may that happen very quickly in our days. I inspire you during this week, before Tisha B'Av, Wednesday night, Thursday, do something extra to step up, to make our Father in heaven happy, and to give him all the nachas that we can. So he in return can give us the nachas he's waiting to give us, the most greatest treasure in the world, his holy temple, very quickly in our days. So may God bless you all. We love you all. Shabbat Shalom. Candlelighting time in Montreal, 8:13 p.m.